Contracts for more than 2,000 Twin Ports nurses expire at the end of June.
And the last time negotiations ensued, it involved many of those nurses at Essentia and St. Luke's walking off the job.
And new talks begin tomorrow. Northern News Now's Madison Green hears from both sides and how they hope to avoid a repeat of 2022.
This is what happened the last time Twin Ports nurses were negotiating contracts in 2022. Picketing and even a 3-day strike before the two sides eventually reached a deal. Essentia St. Mary's leaders say they are committed to avoiding the outward displays this time around.
We want to start this process early and often, and so the goal of not having a gap in the contract that expires in June.
The Minnesota Nurses Association believes it is possible, but they are not willing to sacrifice what they believe is fair for speed.
That would be ideal, but I can also say that we're willing to put in the time that it takes to get a good contract. It's just like taking care of a patient.
In 2022, the nurses worked off contract for nearly 6 months. Essentia leaders believe there is no clear comparison to 2022 and these upcoming negotiations.
There were a lot of challenges across the state. We had just come out of COVID, and that was a really challenging time for healthcare. I do think we're looking at kind of a different situation right now and hoping that we'll have a different outcome.
Meanwhile, the MNA says COVID didn't create the contention, only highlighted it.
We've been looking at staffing shortages. We've been facing an inverted population pyramid for a long time. I think it really made healthcare workers realize that they needed to draw a line.
Neither party shared details of their key negotiation points. With talks just beginning Friday, they do say there is much to discuss. In Duluth, Madison Green, Northern News Now.
Madison, thank you. Meantime, Aspira St. Luke's tells us they are in the process of creating a negotiation schedule.